sake. I used to put it up on the I used to do a podcast, every week that I would do a podcast,
Wow, I never got that before.
Yeah, I never got that before either.
I like that new thing. It tells you that you're being recorded. That's awesome.
It's all new right now. Zoom did that. Zoom actually did it so that people wouldn't be recorded by accident, I guess, because I notice it now that when I go into other shows that they're already recording, it says you're going into a recorded show. Do you want to be involved? And so, and also now they also say you have to give the host permission to mute you and unmute you, which is also a good thing. So welcome. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming today on the new time, it's not the new place, but it is the new time. And the new name of the meeting is the SoundBroker RoundTable, where we're going to discuss how current events affect us all and how it affects our industry and everything else like that. And there's going to be all sorts of tidbits. We're going to have new segments. Everybody's going to get assigned something to do that wants to be assigned something to do. And whatever you don't want to do, then I'll do it. And just remember that the other thing that I will say is that everything that you hear today is an opinion. It might be fact, it might not. It's up to you to do the research. And so that's where we have it. And let's see, one more thing that I wanted to say, and that is let's have fun. Let's have a good time. And that wasn't it, but remember, you make it happen. Oh yeah, that's right. If you like the show, tell people about it so we get more people involved. You could always join if you want the link. It's everywhere. Or you could just watch us on YouTube and Facebook, which you're probably doing right now. So, hey, with that in mind, hello everybody. How you doing? Let's just open it up right away. Is there anybody who would like to say anything about anything just to start the meeting? You don't have to raise your hand, just speak out.
Okay, I'll just grab it. Hey, we live events are back. The Internet Marketing Party had a live event in Austin down on West 6th Street, which is the trendier part of 6th Street. There's the East 6th Street, which is dirty 6th Street, and West 6th Street, which I guess is clean 6th Street. It's the entertainment district, and there are about 200 people there, and not a mask in the crowd. They're going to alternate between virtual and real events. They'll have a virtual event, then they'll have a real event, and then a virtual event. So that's kind of interesting because you'll meet people, you really don't find out who they are, and then you have a virtual meeting, and then you actually get to know their name and something about them. So Austin's coming back, and I don't know, is that the same everywhere?
Well, for those people who don't know, Paul lives in California West, Austin, Texas. And so that's what it is. And the marketing meeting that he's talking about is a group of people. They have a name for it. The side hustle. That's what they call it. The side hustle. And once I watched the one that fascinated me the most about this woman who was selling t-shirts on Amazon, right? And she didn't make them. Somebody else made them. She just came up with slogans like, have a great day. And then when people would order them, she would then order them from the distributor, and the printer, the maker, and she was making supposedly, like millions of dollars. So
what she did, Jan, it's a little bit of different. She found the top selling products with their slogans, and then she would take those slogans and she would vary them just a little bit so that they were different, but only slightly different. And then she ran with those. That's how she made they all say they make millions, all these internet marketing types. If they don't say they make millions, they're not playing the game right, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I must be doing something wrong. I'm not making millions.
Well, it could be millions of pennies, right?
Well, last year I made six figures, but unfortunately there were 2 decimal places in it, so I guess that's about the same as everybody else, Hey, listen, I got a news flash for you, by the way, people out there. I just found this out. Fedex is not delivering on Monday because it's Memorial Day. So if you've got anything that absolutely positively has to be there on Monday, you can't use FedEx. You probably have to use something else, like the old Pony Express or something like that.
Well, is anybody delivering on Monday, Memorial Day?
I always deliver every chance I get. So, but I'm very expensive when it comes to delivering packages. No, I don't know.
Well, I can tell you, don't ship your guitar with FedEx. Where did I read about? Oh, Joe Bonamassa was talking about how he shipped a guitar by FedEx and it got lost. And then that's just like another friend of mine had a priceless guitar lost by FedEx. It's just horrible. So don't ship a guitar, or I guess anything valuable that shows that it's valuable, by FedEx. It's just not good.
Well, here's what I recommend, and Tina might chip in on this as well because she does all our logistics. But whenever you send anything FedEx, and whenever you send anything anywhere, always get a tracking number, and always make sure that you track that package from the time it ships all the way the time till it gets delivered. As a matter of fact, you should call the shipper, if you're not the shipper itself, just to make sure that they actually did drop it off. And the other thing that we do over at our company is that when something gets delivered, we don't just trust FedEx to let us know, or whoever it is. We actually call the person who's the recipient and say, hey, did you get it? Just to make sure. Also, along those lines, if you ever send an email that's really important, I always recommend that you call the person, and even if you don't reach them on the phone, leave them a message saying, hey, I sent you an email. Did you get it? That's it. Tina, you want to add anything about FedEx or
talk
shipping?
to somebody on the phone? That's crazy, Jan. You are crazy.
It's crazy talk. I know, but you might, but that way is the only way you actually get confirmation. You could use a text. But that's so much more impersonal. And if they don't respond to the text, then you don't know either. But if you leave them a voicemail message, usually people get notified by their voicemail message. Tina, you want to add anything to that?
The reason that it's really important to track it daily is because they will update you if something goes wrong or if it's delayed. Now, if it says there's a delay, you want to call that terminal immediately and see why. That's what you want. That's the important part, because if something happens to it, they will tell you.
Yeah. And do you have recourse at that point? I mean, let's say they say it's delayed. Oh, why is it delayed? Oh, because we had a truck crashed. So what's your recourse? What can you do?
Well, I always get full cover insurance on everything, and if it's a special item, that's tough to lose a special item, but the only recourse you have is just making sure that you have full cover insurance.
Jan,
but at least and then you can make the people who are receiving it aware that this is what's going on right now. I'm on top of it. I will get you information as soon as they clarify what's going on with me, something like that.
That's good advice. It's good advice. But hold the phone, everybody. Hold the phone. We have a panelist in the room that hasn't been in a couple of days from Feed the Crew. She knew immediately who I was talking about. And I want to say she did an interview with this guy that I was listening to the other day. As a matter of fact, it was brilliant. It was funny. It was hilarious. I mean, it was hilarious. And it was so informative. Who is that guy anyway, Ray?
Was this guy? He's getting very, very popular on Facebook and among our community. His name's Jan Landy. I don't know if anybody's met him before.
Oh, the guy who has no talent.
But it really was a good interview. It really was. He's getting a lot of downloads, and I'm really happy about that. Excited that our community is enjoying the interview with Jan.
Yeah, we're going to put that link in the chat notes. It's really an informative, and there's a lot of people in this room that might also fit your needs. And speaking of which, this is not a segment that I was going to introduce, but what about let's say Nathan Lively? Who is that guy, Ken Newman, and what are you doing with Nathan Lively?
I really don't know who Nathan is. I don't know much about his background, but he bills himself as a audio guy that's a teacher. So he has a website that's full of information about doing live sound. He's just one of those people that shares their information, their knowledge, and he's doing a thing called the Live Sound Summit, which I was invited to speak at. And so it's like 3 days in June. We're all talking about different aspects of doing live sound. Should be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing Dave Ratt talk.
Yeah, Dave is very interesting. He was on the panel once. One thing I will say. So going back to Ray. So Ray, tell everybody a little bit about what the podcast is and how you handle it.
So I'm actually on our website right here. We're a podcast for the live events and entertainment industry, and we want to inform and inspire our community with stories of things that you've done in your career or your personal life, your struggles, your wins, all of those things. We have a multitude of topics that we cover. Generally speaking, each episode is about an hour. We come out weekly on Wednesday mornings, and we are on just about every podcast platform you could name.
Well, there you go. And thank you for joining us. Is there anything that's happening in your life right now that you want to share with everybody?
My life has been a bit of a whirlwind lately because of work. So their work is picking up, which is fantastic. And still trying to keep the podcast going, which is great too, because it's got a lot more traction than I thought it would have. My original interpretation of this was, the 300 people across the country that know me from the industry might tune in. And that number has just exploded. I don't even know if it's even my friends. I think it's other people.
That's good. Well, we're going to promote it. I am promoting it. Tina's promoting it as well on our social media as well. All kidding aside, I believe that was the very first time that I have been interviewed. And, I was a little bit nervous at first when I started to listen to it. So I sent it out to all my friends to listen to it to see whether, how it stood up. And everybody seemed to really love it. They said that you really did a great job in interviewing me, and I was very comfortable, and it was funny, and it was very informative. If you didn't know some of the things about my life, now you know too much about me,
And we are looking for more people. So anyone out there that would like to be on the show and talk to us about their life, their world, their career, all of those things, then hit us up on the website at feedthecrewpodcast.com. And there is a contact us area link on there. So just give us a contact, send that email out. Sometimes they come to me, but I do have a full team of volunteers that, it may go directly to somebody else.
Okay. You know what we should do in the chat? Put in your email address. Now we won't publish that on social media. However, we are putting the links out to feed the podcast on our social media right now, and those people on YouTube and Facebook are also seeing that link right now. Tina's actually doing that behind the scenes, I believe. Anyway, so do you know this? It was almost 11 years ago today that this guy was really hungry. He was a programmer. He was really hungry, and he bought 2 Papa John pizzas, and he paid something like 10,000 Bitcoins for that. And today, even with the plunge in Bitcoins, it's still worth $350 million. So that was still the most expensive pizza ever purchased in the history of the planet. 300. And all I could say is I hope he got extra cheese, sausage, and pepperoni. That's all I can say.
Jan, I've got a pizza related story for you. Okay.
Yeah, Paul.
Here we go. Okay. There is the new delivery vehicle that you will get your pizza, and it is driverless. See, he's putting in the pizza, the door is closed, and away it goes. It's going to hit the streets. No driver, and I can't wait to hear the outcome of this.
Wow, that's Domino's Pizza. So it looks like it's a little smaller than a regular vehicle.
Oh, way smaller than a regular vehicle. Nobody's going to see this thing coming. It's
Wow.
kind of tall, though. It looks like it's pretty tall.
And it's autonomous.
Coming soon to your neighborhood.
Wow, very
Totally
cool. So there you go. There you go,
go.
everybody. There's a hot news tip, a good reason to watch the show. Yeah. Hey, Tina, let's order some pizza right now. Okay, let's order.
So the question is, if that thing delivers pizza to you, do you have to actually go outside your house and go get it from the vehicle?
I think the vehicle's small enough to drive right through your front door.
Ken, you do have to go outside. They give you a code, and you type in the code on the side of the vehicle, and it opens up your pizza.
Is it like an Amazon locker, Tina, where you could steal everybody's pizza?
No, it's like an Amazon locker.
Yeah,
That's
otherwise it's
friggin'
like
great.
going to the
Here
it's
it
like
is.
going to the bathroom on an airplane. You know, you walk in the door and there is somebody's peed on the floor, and you say, "What
Here
do you
it
do?"
is. Here it is.
Now, if I
Here's the
leave,
guy.
it's going to look like me.
Here's the guy getting his pizza, and away it goes.
Unbelievable.
Away it goes.
Well, very good. Well, speaking of away it goes, could you believe now that the anti-vaxxers are blaming those people that are vaccinated for spreading the virus now? That's the new thing. It's amazing. And so in exchange for that now, the states are incentivizing people to get vaccinated. They're actually paying people. And I'm curious to know, we'll go around the room to see if it's happening in anybody's state. But I want to start in Louisiana in case you don't know, Steve. In Louisiana now, it's known, you guys are known for your amazing, amazing, amazing food. And now on May 13th, residents were offered a 1 free pound bag of boiled crawfish if they got vaccinated for the... So what a deal, man! What a deal! If I wish I was living in New Orleans now. Did you get your pound of cooked crawfish?
No, but good news is Jason got his shot yesterday.
Oh, that's phenomenal! Jason is his son. For those people who are not following the weekly drama of Steve and Children,
Louisiana is second from the bottom for getting vaccinated. Is what I heard on the radio this morning. Mississippi is the worst.
Jason should claim his crawfish.
That's it. Get the crawfish, baby. Get that crawfish. That's all I can say, So what's going on in your state? So who wants to talk about what's going on in their state about that? Fred, are you with us? Can you chat about what's happening in Arizona?
Actually, I haven't been here. I went over and did a soccer event over on the Pico lot at Fox last weekend. Very first time I was ever there. What a struggle that was. On a Studer, I've never been on before. In 5-1, never done that on a Studer before. And everything was a number. There was no labels on anything. And there were routers that fed the input to the console. So the Studer's already like 7 layers deep. And then you add 2 more routers in front of that. It was an insane day.
Well, the good part about that lot is that right across the street is the Rancho Park Golf Course.
I did see that. I wish I would have had time to go over there and play some golf, but nope.
And here's a little history story. My first SoundBroker office was right next door to the Fox lot. And I was above a dentist's office. And so, we were there for 1 year before we outgrew it. And then we moved to El Segundo where we outgrew that. And then we moved into Las Vegas. So it's, that's a beautiful area. But, and the Fox lot there is very old, but, and that's probably why they had the Studer. How old was the Studer?
I think it was a Vista V. I don't know. I'd never seen it before. Actually, they may have one out at Crass. It's one of the newer ones, I think, because it shows the timelines on the bottom of each individual fader. And it obviously did 5-1. They loaded somebody else's show for me, and then I just tried to modify it and make it go. And everybody was happy when the show was over, but man, I sat in that chair for 10 hours. I got up one time to go to the bathroom. Never had a meal break. It was a struggle.
Wow. Well, hey, look, you're working a lot. You're probably the most working man in our industry at this moment in time compared to everybody else on the panel. So congratulations. You evidently you went into a good field.
Jan, what is all that gear that he has? What does it do? What does it actually do?
Nobody knows, Paul. Nobody knows, not even Fred.
All the stuff here.
What does it do?
I'm here at the Bureau of Land Management National Training Center. They have 14 classrooms, one of which is set up like a courtroom. They actually go in and do mock trials. Fish and Wildlife come here and learn stuff. Their deputies come here and learn stuff. It's a pretty cool facility.
That is cool. Speaking of cool things, in Alabama, those people who got vaccinated, they were allowed to take 2 laps around the Talladega Speedway. which had to be amazing to be able to drive on a race course like that, you know. In Connecticut, they gave everybody one free stock of any. No, that's not what happened in Connecticut. What did they do? Participants set to. They gave them free drinks. Let's see. In Chicago, you got a Vax pass, and the mayor said, we won't shoot you today. That's what the mayor said. You wouldn't get shot. There was a gun-free zone in Chicago where nobody got shot on that day that you got your vaccination, other than the shot of a vaccination.
But nobody got crawfish.
That's right. In Michigan, what did they do? The Michigan, they're offering $50 reward for anyone who pre-registers and then gets another registrant to get the vaccination. Let's see.
Which one of them has the lottery for $1 million?
That's Ohio.
They're doing really well.
And Colorado has $5 million
what?
drawings.
Oh, no kidding.
One every week through July.
And New York, you get to see a free Yankee game.
That's pretty cool.
You get a code for 2 free tickets to a game if they get jabbed at Yankee Stadium or Citi Field. Ohio is the $1 million lottery. Let's see, Pennsylvania, you get a bit of swag from Johnson & Johnson. You also get 2 vouchers for 2 tickets to a game of the Gritties. I think the Gritties are the hockey team, right? The New Jersey Devils, if I'm correct. Well, bunch of hockey fans there. Okay, let's see what else. Tennessee, in the immortal words of Oprah Winfrey, you get a car. Adult residents of Shelby County received at least 1 dose of COVID are eligible to win a brand new car of their choice if they enter the sweepstakes. In Harris County, Texas, Ray, do you know what they're doing there?
Free guns. If you get the shot, you get a free gun.
No, actually, you're very close.
Goodness.
You're very close. What you do is you get a free get out of jail card if you shoot somebody. That's what it is. But you have to shoot them in the chest. If you miss, then you go to jail. But if you shoot them in the chest, like I said, everything you hear, you better do your research on Google.
Are we talking about a
Depends
video
on where
game?
you do that shooting. I'm just saying. But no, nothing quite as cool as getting a free gun. You get a Astros bobblehead.
That's
So-
it.
And that's
We do-
so
we do.
in demand.
And let's just point out, speaking as a Longhorn and before Nevada, a longtime resident of Texas, that's just Harris County. The state would never dare to offer any kind of incentive for getting vaccinated because that would be an admission that vaccinations are important.
Correct.
Wouldn't want to do that.
No. The other thing
Well-
in Harris County that we've done as an incentive, which is not as cool, but it's still it's at least a good idea. Not probably, it is a good idea, is that they've extended hours and extended weekends and things like that. So lots more opportunities for off hours and such.
Yeah, and Jen, I don't think we're giving anything away here in Nevada that I'm aware of, but I do know that they've pretty much stopped checking IDs. That you can pretty much just walk up and say, "Oh, I left my wallet at home," and they'll give you a vaccination. They don't.
Yeah,
care.
I don't. That's
They don't
that's
care
been
where
true.
you're from.
Right.
They don't care if you're even from the U.S. Just they got a shot. You've got an arm. Let's put the
Yep.
two together.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's really
also
cool.
they don't care about your insurance anymore either. They're just bringing everybody through. So
Yeah.
that's a little known fact actually though, that they don't care about your insurance.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, what are they doing there where you are? You're in Missouri, if I remember correctly, right?
I'm in Wichita, Kansas today. Which
Okay.
is where I am most days. See if I can make this all work.
What are they giving? What are they giving you there? Right? You get a free toothbrush. Oh no, he just froze.
Tim froze. He must have a really interesting internet connection because
I'm on house
video
Is that
really-
part of the? Is it still? Is Kansas still part of the United States?
No, we joined Oklahoma to be stupider than Texas. No. Yes, all opinions, folks. All opinions. No.
It would have to be
are-
to join Oklahoma.
Well, I have dead relatives in both states. That may explain why they're all dead. No, actually, I'm on a gig today for whatever the video is worth. And if it doesn't lock up and freeze again, But
It did.
it did, of course.
It's
it
okay.
did.
It's
There-
interesting viewing. It's interesting viewing anyway.
Yeah,
because
well,
it's very
now
trippy.
we can see something. Talk to us, Tim.
Talk
Yeah.
to you. Talk to me.
Yeah. For those people doing LSD, it's real. What you're watching.
Hey, I got one, guys. So my son, he's 8 years old, and here in Vegas, they've advertised free cup of coffee with your vaccine, and then free donut with your vaccine. Well, the other day, my son heard that the Hustler Club was giving free dances for a vaccine. And he's like, what the hell? No donuts, no dances? He was just pretty disappointed. So I can't wait to, 10 years from now when I can tell him that story because it was hilarious.
Son, this is
Just
how
thought
you
I'd
miss
share
your
that
lap
with you.
dance.
What's the address of that club, by the way? Just give I'll be right there.
I think it's on Dean Martin by the Regent Stadium.
It's on
I
Dean
wouldn't
Martin
know
by
for
the
sure,
shooting
though.
range.
Tina, how
Yeah,
would
I
you know
wouldn't
that
know.
really seriously? You know what I
Because
mean?
it's right off the 15. You can't miss it.
That brings up my used vibrator joke. Unbelievable. Which you,
Oh my gosh.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Nothing.
No, nothing brings up that joke.
Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
no.
Stop. What did we tell you at lunch last week? What kind of jokes should you be telling? What kind of jokes?
Oh, self-depreciating humor. Oh God,
There's
I
that.
love it. All right.
We actually gave it a word. What kind of jokes are you supposed to be telling?
Dad jokes. Dad jokes. Yeah, dad jokes. That's right. All right, who's got a dad joke? Your joke was good, Mike. Tell your
Jan.
joke.
Wait, Jan.
Oh,
Wait, Paul. What?
Oh, they have incentive. The legislature's working on some incentives for Texas. If you get vaccinated, you won't have to get a gun permit.
Yeah, that's true. I read that as well. That now they just passed the law in Texas that you now can carry a concealed weapon without a permit. Is that
Right.
true?
Yeah, everyone. It's not just vaccinated. I was just saying that as a joke. It's everyone, regardless, even if you got a criminal record.
Wow, that is amazing. Just think about it. Now you're carrying a gun
Sounds
and
bad.
wearing a
That
mask.
sounds like a very bad
background-
idea.
No more background checks and no more instruction involved.
They're working
Are
on
you
it.
kidding me? Are you
They're
serious?
working
David?
on it. They're going to have a special session. They couldn't pass it in the
flat
regular
out serious.
session.
But no, I mean, listen, Paul, you know what's going to fix this. There's going to be some sort of incident somewhere. There's going to be a bunch of people with guns. Some of them theoretically bad people, some of them theoretically good people reacting to the bad people. There might even be a plainclothes police officer in the mix, but everybody's just going to start shooting everybody because nobody can tell just by looking who the good guys are and the bad guys are, because now everybody's got a gun. So same thing for me. If I move back to Texas, I'm getting a gun and I'm carrying it everywhere. And if anyone starts shooting, I'm shooting anybody else with a gun. That's my plan.
Out in that old western town of El Paso, I shall the man.
Sometime around Christmas, we had a church shooting, and the Texans made a big deal about this because they had a gentleman there who was military trained and was able to take out this gunman in one shot. They made a big deal about that and saying, this is why we should carry, this is why Texas laws are great, we should all have guns, etc. They left out the part where before the shooter was shot dead, a gentleman stood up to grab the gun out from his back and was shot twice before he could get his gun out. If you're not military trained, carrying your gun, or not trained, not necessarily military trained, but if you're not trained, your chances are bad.
It's funny. In New York, a long time ago, they used to have promotions at the Yankee games where they would give out various things, like hat night. And one day they did bat night and they gave out bats. And they had to stop that because people were beating each other up with the bats that they gave out, And I heard right now that I believe the Mavericks are having handgun night now. So where they give everybody a handgun when they come to the stadium. That's going to be one that should be nationally televised that night. So good luck over there for you people living in Texas. I like it. Now,
thank you, Mark Cuban.
Speaking of danger, I just want to point out that IKEA had to recall 159,000 plates, bowls, and mugs for the risk of possibly getting burnt. Now, could you believe this? Now, you got to be careful when you put hot soup in a bowl and not do something stupid, so instead IKEA is preventing that from happening by not selling you a bowl that will hold soup. That's it. And they're having a recall. So if you have any bowls or cups or anything like that you bought from IKEA, you can return them because you might get burned if you put something hot in any of those plates. Speaking of really interesting news, and if there's anybody in this room that's ever I'm not sure, just by show of hands, has anybody in this room at all taken a trip using an airplane? Going anywhere? Oh, I guess that makes it unanimous. We're all there. So now airlines are thinking about weighing passengers before they get on the plane. Not only are they going to weigh your luggage, but now they're going to weigh you to see if you could get on the plane because of, the way they have to distribute the weight on a plane. So now, have you guys heard that? Is there anybody have any comments about if this is not a good reason?
It's been around forever, Jan, but just not on the big planes. It doesn't matter as much on the big planes, particularly if they're sold out. But if you ever go somewhere where you need a puddle jumper, down to the islands in the Caribbean or the islands up in Alaska, they will ask you. They don't actually weigh you, but they ask you, and then they'll move you around the plane, especially for takeoff and landing. They want it balanced left to right. And then they also, for takeoff, they would prefer if more people were sitting in the back. And then for landing, they want you more in the middle.
Jan, are they gonna charge people by the pound?
I think so. That's, the obese people are going to have to, it might be an incentive for people to lose some weight, it just might be an incentive for people to lose some weight. So, because that would be embarrassing, oh, okay, on the scale, buddy, on the scale, let's go, let's go, so I just can't imagine them really pulling that off. But
well, some folks are already forced to purchase 2 tickets depending on how large you are.
Wow.
You're forced to buy 2 tickets. And the seat belt that they use for the demonstration, they actually use that as an extension for people that need those 2 seats so that they have a seat belt that will fit them. Actually,
I was on a plane the other day and I was praying. I was on Southwest and this woman walks on the plane and I was in like one of the front seats and she knew she needed the extension. So she asked the flight attendant for the extension belt and I was just praying, oh, please don't be next to me, please. So yeah, there is some benefit about being thin on an airplane because then your seat is like a first class seat where no matter where you sit. Just an FYI, folks, for those people who have. All right, let's see. Moving on. Moderna says that their vaccine is now safe and effective for children as young as 12 years old.
I read that it's extremely effective. Like it's like 95 or 100% effective.
100%.
I have no idea what you read, Kenny, but if you say you read it, I believe it.
Well, David apparently saw the same headline.
Yeah, it's 100% effective.
There you go. It makes me want to have a child that's, under 12. I guess that's about it, So unfortunately, I don't have one. But for those people that do have children, what do you think? Are you going to, would you want
that could easily be arranged, I'm sure.
I'm sure if I won the lottery, I'm sure some people would come back out and say, you remember me, this is your child, and I wouldn't be able to deny that, I guess, except I don't know you.
There's always DNA.
Oh, that's right. DNA. It's amazing what they're doing with DNA these days. They just exhumed a body in Australia of a cold case from 70 years ago where this man was found washed up in the beach in a tuxedo with a half a cig. I don't know how this happened, but he had a half a cigarette, and they never found out who he is, but they just got court approval to exhume his body, and they're going to now, using DNA, they believe they're going to be able to identify who this person was. That's pretty cool when you think about it, you know?
Speaking of cool, did you hear that 35 large, cats, tigers and things like that, were taken from that Tiger King guy? What's his name? And put in an actual game preserve.
I did read that.
That's amazing. I thought he had a few cats. 35. Holy shit.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Was anybody his neighbor? Who's living out in that neck of the woods? Who's living in Oklahoma? Nobody. Okay, that's good. Let's move on.
Yeah, because Kurt is in Seattle. Remember that.
Oh yes, Kurt. How you doing? Did you see any of those lions, tigers, or bears anywhere near your neighborhood?
Out in Seattle.
Okay, there you go. We always get you confused, Kurt. I think you should, rename yourself Kurt Hare, Seattle, and that way we wouldn't get confused because we'd be able to read where you are. Hey, here's another bit of news. That came out this week, and if you might remember back to one of our shows, we had George Arante from the Miami Heat talking about that they were using dogs to sniff out COVID in people. Well, today there's an article in the paper that basically goes into the scientific reasoning how dogs are able to. It's basically dogs can detect COVID from human sweat, and they say that right now it is more accurate and quicker. The dog could do it almost instantaneously, whereas the fastest test right now for antigen is 15 minutes. So, and the dog could sniff you immediately, and the only thing is you have to worry about him humping your leg. That's about it, if you don't have COVID. So that's something to be careful about, but it does exist. So has anybody have any experience? Has anybody yet been sniffed by a dog and found that they didn't have COVID or did have COVID?
I saw it on the news yesterday, though, showing there was some sort of concert, and they were doing the dogs, checking the people online. I can't remember where, though.
It could have been Miami because that's where they're using it. That was where they're first using it.
It was Miami.
Yeah, the Heat, Miami Arena is using it right now for the Heat games. So that's probably it. And speaking of things going on, I mean, now I've got a list of, during the year when we were doing the MasterMind roundtable, I would be hard pressed to find shows that are going on. But right now, listen to this list that just came out this week. Lollapalooza announced its lineup, and it's got Miley Cyrus and a few other people, some major names. Luke Bryan announced his tour. Enrique Iglesias and Ricky Martin are going out on the road. The Jonas Brothers are going out. Gwen Stefani is going out. Rise Against Nowhere is going out. Now, Debbie Gibson announced her Vegas shows. Usher announced a residency in Vegas. Santana is going.
Gibson?
Say again?
Did you say Debbie Gibson?
Debbie Gibson, yeah.
The 1980s Debbie Gibson?
You light up my life, baby. You light up my life.
No, that's Debbie Boone.
That's Debbie Boone. I don't know who Debbie Gibson is then. Bam!
She's the mall queen.
Oh, the mall queen. Well, anyway, she's going into Vegas. She's doing a residency along with Usher and Santana. So they announced those. And then Chris Stapleton is going out on the road. Beartooth is going on the road. And now they also announced the Foo Fighters, Post Malone, to build a festival which will descend on Chicago's Grant Park from July 29th to August 1st. And I believe that is Lollapalooza. In alignment with our health guidance, a world-class festival returns to its city later this year. So that's what's going on in Chicago. Blake Shelton is hitting the road for a 17-date Friends and Heroes tour, which runs off on August 18th, and it also will have Lindsay E.L. and Martina McBride, Tracy Bird, and Tracy Atkins. Those people. I told you about the Jonas Brothers. Austin City has just announced its lineup as well, Paul. So you can go to a concert in Austin now. It's slated for the first 2 weekends of October. On Thursday, it was topped by the most Let's see who's in it. Nope, they didn't make an announcement of who's in the show. They just announced that
it's a ton of artists. George Strait is one of them.
Oh, it is. Okay, so it's George Strait. That's right. Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish? Am I pronouncing that right? Eilish. That's right. Sometimes you got to worry about. Look at my eyelashes; they're very nice. Yes. So who else? Stevie Nicks, Miley Cyrus, Rufus the Soul, The Baby, Erykah Badu.
Erykah Badu.
Wow, she spells her name so funny. That's like that Dave Chappelle bit on Saturday Night Live. You know, where you couldn't. Was it Dave Chappelle or was it Eddie Murphy? Where they couldn't pronounce anybody's name. Anyway, very funny. Google it. Okay. So, anybody else have anything going on? Let's talk about what we're doing. Anybody have any work coming up that they want to talk about?
No, I had something interesting happen this weekend. I was in Vegas, and my granddaughter graduated high school, and they had it at the Allegiant Stadium, the first event to be there, which is the Raiders' new place. And I got to see the arena, and it is really spectacular.
Was the roof open or closed?
The roof does not open. The sidewall does.
Oh, that's right. Sidewall opens, roof is fixed.
Right. But it's translucent, so if light comes in.
Tell us a little bit about the grass, David, that you smoked there.
It's for those people who don't know, the NFL requires their teams to play on real grass. Apparently, I just found that out. And this stadium has two surfaces. It has a grass surface that rolls out of the building and leaves the artificial turf underneath. So this high school reunion, graduation, and the UNLV games are done on the artificial turf. And then a 4-foot tall, full football field sized platform of grass with watering systems and everything rolls in from the side of the building and covers the floor, and they play on grass. And it's like, how do they do that is the first question that comes to mind. But they do it.
They do. It takes 1 hour and a half for them to do that, to roll it, to switch grasses.
Yeah, the grass is
outside. I did the tour with the drink. Took pictures on the 50-yard line.
I was wondering how they get it to roll over the turf without harming it. So
it's rollers, but it switches it because the guys they practice outside. On the other side where the grass is. It's a whole nother area on the outside of the stadium. So when the artificial grass goes out there after the real grass has been out there watered all day, they actually use that as to practice on too as well, or warm up.
Oh, so the artificial rolls out and the grass rolls in? It doesn't roll over the artificial?
No, it's actually switching.
Oh, wow. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because it can actually go down to bare concrete.
Yes.
Both surfaces rolled, and the bare concrete is what they would use if they did motocross or a tractor pull or whatever.
I've got a picture of it if you want me to put it on share.
They do that in Phoenix a few years ago already.
Yes, but we're Las Vegas, so we do it better.
Yeah. So
and the announce booth is so big that the directors and producers complained about the echo. I mean, the announce booth is the biggest announce booth I've ever been in doing an NFL football game.
Now, I have a question for you guys. How are you all able to be in this stadium and I haven't? What is going on? What have I done wrong?
I got lucky and went out with CBS. So
I think Ray might have a clue as to why you don't get invited places, Jan.
Oh, really? Ray, what is that idea?
I said the bad jokes.
Oh, the bad jokes. I think people love me for that. And we're getting close to another good one, or a good bad joke. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, before we go into what's happening in Las Vegas, Gear, what's happening where you are? You are someplace not in the United States, if I remember correctly. Is that correct?
Yes, I am in Norway. And I can see I froze, but you can still maybe hear me. Yes, I can see.
No, you're not frozen. We hear you,
Yep,
and we
yep.
hear you all
Good.
the way up in Norway. Yes.
Oslo, Norway, just outside. What happens here for COVID? We are getting our vaccines. Johnson and is kind of not wanted, or AstraZeneca is out, but we are getting the vaccines. But we are kind of impressed by America because apparently you have a relatively high amount of the population has been vaccinated already. So that's good. I've had my first shot. I'm going to have it the next one later this summer. We in a week or two. We have just cancelled. I'm on the steering committee of something that's called Nordic Sound Symposium, which is a biannual symposium where we congregate at the mountain lodge and drink and tell funny stories and have deliver papers. We were supposed to have it this autumn, but we've cancelled it because we don't think that, even though we might be allowed to have as many people as we need, we will probably, our business doesn't have the economy to send people to such an event, to a mountain lodge for 4 days. We have a fantastic program, but that doesn't help. So that's that. We see that there are concerts are being announced. Queen is coming here, but in 2022. They are opening now. So they're this actually today they had some announcement that they are now going forward with the second stage in the opening. So we are allowed to meet, I think, 100 people in venues. We are hoping for this European vaccine passport, because 1st of July, the EU is, I think it's 1st of July, the EU is going to have a passport that you can have on your phone, which gives you your immunity status towards COVID, and it will say whether you've been vaccinated once or twice, or if you're immune because you've been infected during the last 6 months. And that will supposedly allow you to do a lot of stuff that you can't do. So, for example, if concerts are limited to 200 people, that will be 200 without the passport, and then you can have as many as you want with the passport. So that's going to be fun to see if that happens. Well, it will happen, and see how it plays out.
See, that's good. Here in the United States. Paul, 1 second, Paul. Okay. Here in the United States, there is a group of people that are fighting that because of privacy information. Is that happening where you are in Norway?
Yes, there is that concern, but the thing is, in Europe, we have good reason to trust the government, so we actually do trust the government. Therefore, while there are these professors at law universities, they are in the papers saying things about privacy but we are more concerned about the segregation of the society that it actually will create, because me being vaccinated and having this, and the passport will be on my phone. It will be this barcode on my phone, so which I will show, and they will scan it, and it will. That's at least how I think it's going to be. So I will be allowed to go to the restaurants. I will be allowed to do whatever I want. But then my next door neighbor, who hasn't got this vaccine, well, in Norway, that's not going to be a problem. But let's say there are people in Europe which are not so well off as Norwegians, and they may not be vaccinated for whatever reason. So they will not have access to this, to whatever, to go to the hairdresser or go to the concert or the restaurant or whatever, or education.
Well, what I heard is
that's
that
what they are focusing on.
what I heard was movement around in the Euronation is that in order to go to other countries that are in the Euronation, you're going to have to show the vaccination.
Yeah, that's true. I have I have a property in Sweden. It is just an hour and 15 minutes from my home in Oslo, because we're relatively close to Sweden, and it's just across the border. But getting there is a hassle. So we're actually going there on Saturday, and I will have to then take a test and pay. Well, I could get a public test, but that takes forever. So on the border, I can do a quick test, but that I will have to pay 500 Norwegian kroner. So that's $50. And then I show that to the Swedish border guards, and they will let me in. And there's a special law that's in Norway where they've realized that they had to allow people to go and the problem was last summer or last spring when people couldn't go there. The snow was weighing down on the roofs of their cabins, so people wanted to go there to shove the snow off, as they always did. Otherwise, it will just cave in. And eventually, the government said, "Okay, we will allow people to go for 1 day." But you have to have no contacts with the locals and what have you. So we are allowed to do essential maintenance. So I will go to Sweden and do essential maintenance, cut the grass, meet the electrician, stay 15 meters away from him, or 5. I have to read the specific. I think it was 15 meters away from him, and come back within before midnight. So that's what I'm going to do this weekend. So yes, if you come from wherever for any reason, except for very essential journeys, which I don't remember what they were, you actually have to go to a quarantine hotel for 10 days, and you have to pay yourself.
Well, thank you very much. I have two things I want to say before I turn it over to Paul for the question. But number one, is that I am representing Gear's Sweden home on my Airbnb site. That's number one. And number two, if you want to save some money, you can rent one of those COVID sniffing dogs and save the $50. All right, Paul, what did you have to say?
Okay, yeah, Gear. I'm half Norwegian. Maybe you've seen my name around Norway. I don't know.
Which half?
Valhus, yeah, yes,
Valhus,
yes,
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And a friend of mine, Tyler Crowley, runs the largest EU startup event called STHLM Tech. It's tomorrow, May 27th. It's going to be live. STHLM. You might want to check it out. Tyler's amazing. He has the second most popular show on Clubhouse. It's called Tech News Around the World. Very good show.
And because he's Paul's best friend, Paul is going to get you free tickets.
I'm getting you a free ticket.
That's it.
Because all the tickets are free.
As a matter of fact, Gear, look under your seat right now. I think you'll find the car. That's it, right under your seat.
Everyone
There's
here
car
gets a
from
free
Oprah
ticket.
Winfrey.
Everyone under your seat.
So where is that show?
It is. Let me look it up here. It is. I can find it. Just go to look up Tyler Crowley on Twitter, and he has a post on Twitter in his Twitter feed today. And it starts tomorrow, and it's all day, and it's online.
And send your checks payable to Paul Wallace at whatever it is. Okay. Hey, Ken Porter's in the room, ladies and gentlemen. We have our reporter from Nashville. Ken, what's going on in Nashville? How you doing? What's happening there as far as business and the vaccination report? What are they giving away in Tennessee to get people vaccinated?
I hadn't paid much attention to it. I've been too busy.
So how many shows you got going out this week?
Well, last night I got home, I was fixed dinner and watching a little TV, and someone texted me and said, "Do you realize we have 4 of the 9 artists that were on The Voice guest artists last night?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think anything about it." Flipped over and I missed them all.
Well, there you go. Fortunately, there is TiVo or there is, YouTube where you can watch them in the past. That's it. In the future, from the past.
There's quite a bit of stuff going in, and I got a row of people prepping. We've loaded 3 trucks today to go out, out for shows this weekend and stuff there. So things are up. I'm doing a big streaming thing with one of the Christian radio stations doing something at the Opry House. We got like 12 bands coming through and doing multiple artists, stuff like that. So anyway, it's been kind of heck nuts time-wise. I need to go shopping and pick up some stuff and things to get people taken care of. But hopefully you're doing fine.
It's good. Glad to hear that. I heard you did a big job with, well, it wasn't a big job, but for me, it was a big job with SoundBroker. I heard SoundBroker placed an order with your company. That's pretty impressive right there. Wow. Amazing what a little iced tea will do when it's sweetened with vodka. I'm telling you. That's what happens. All right, Steve, tell us what's going on in Louisiana.
Not a whole lot this week. We've been busy the last couple of weeks, but yeah, just the COVID, as far as the shots, just trying to get more and more people vaccinated. Like I said earlier, we're second on the bottom of the list of all the states as far as getting people vaccinated. So not too good there.
Hey,
I'm going to have to change my joke.
If you just try a little harder, you'll be number 1.
No, Mississippi's going to stay there.
It's okay.
Didn't I hear something about United or someone was given a raffle if you had vaccinated in, you could be in a raffle in the winter. They're giving away like 20 round trip tickets to anywhere in the world.
It's free airfare for a year.
I thought there was a number on them.
Well, that's pretty amazing.
It's up to 52 trips. So you could go somewhere for a year. You could go somewhere every week for a year on them.
So you signed up yet?
I have not. But I do know this, Steve. If Louisiana does continue on its path, then I'm going to have to change my joke about where the toothbrush was invented. That's all I can say. I have to change, because right now it's still Mississippi, and that, it was invented in California, because if it was invented in Mississippi, it would have been called if it was invented in California, it would have been called the teeth brush, that's it. So it was invented in Mississippi. There you have it. Moving on, let's talk to Kurt. Kurt, what's going on up in Seattle? Any work coming up your way? Anything going on?
We're doing well as far as the vaccinations go. I think we're one of the top states. We reopen, all the restrictions get dropped on June 30th. So July 1st, basically, we can do whatever we want. Getting lots of calls, doing lots of quotes and stuff, but nobody's really ready to, pull the trigger on any specific events until September, October at this point.
Just an FYI, there's a club in town in Seattle called the Crocodile that's opening. We've sold them a bunch of gear. They just bought 2 SL 200s, SSL 200s. And they're going to be opening up. They have a restaurant, they have a bar, they have multiple stages, and they have a hotel all built in one in downtown Seattle called the Crocodile. You might want to check that out. And if there's anything I could do for you over there, I'll introduce you to those people that are there, and maybe you can pick up some engineering work or something. So we'll do that for you.
Adam is the head audio guy. That they took over what used to be the El Gaucho, which was
that's right,
the top steakhouse in the city. They moved to a different place. So the hotel and the huge room and all of the stuff was built for that high-end steakhouse, which has now moved out of that building.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you don't need me. That's all I could say. Moving on. Let's see, John. You want to talk about what's going on in Monterey?
You have to figure out how to unmute. I take it I've unmuted.
Yeah.
We haven't started building the stage yet. We've had some delays in getting equipment here, but I did a Zoom event yesterday for the Monterey County Visitors and Chamber of Commerce. They did a show, which was a drift. Oop, here, I could do it here. how to do a driftwood kit
Hmm.
that they sent out. We're waiting for California to open up supposedly June 15th. But as I said, I'm a very small minnow in a smaller pond, but the Monterey Convention Center has a studio that will be up and running hopefully in June.
Well, you all come back now. You hear? Okay, that's it. That's the new California motto. You come on, you will come back. All right. So now, as we wind down for the show, we will bring in Michael Brown to talk about what's going on in Las Vegas and the roundtable recap.
Las Vegas, we're open. There never was a pandemic. We don't care. That's actually not true. You'll still see a lot of people wearing masks. I'm actually surprised by, given the Nevada's libertarian streak, by how accommodating people are being about masks. And a lot of stores are still requiring it. And they're certainly requiring it of their staff. I was at a Smith's grocery store the other night, and they actually announce, it's part of their loop on their background music, that if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. But I heard a manager chastising an employee for not wearing their mask. Even the employee said, well, I'm vaccinated. And they said, that doesn't apply to you. All employees have to wear a mask. We want to make our guests feel comfortable. So it's nice to see that. I think all of the major casinos are back to, are at 100%. There's not a plexiglass shield to be found. I actually looked out the window, a third floor window of a casino the other day, saw that happened to be overlooking a dumpster, and it was full of plexiglass. Which I thought was interesting. I thought they would at least store it for a little while just in case, but apparently not. They're just chucking it all. So Vegas is in good shape. Caesars, the hotel, is sold out for the rest of the year. We've got concerts coming fast and furious. Got lots of smaller venues that are now reopening and discovering that when you turn power off to stuff for 15 months, when you turn it back on, it doesn't always like that. And things break. So I like that. That's good business. And yeah, right now I'm just trying to keep up with the phone calls. It's been a crazy couple of weeks.
You're really so busy that this Friday you can't even go out for a free lunch. Unbelievable.
I know. Isn't that, Jan's buying this week and I had to pass. But hey, if any of you all are in town, you can take my place.
That's right. Anyone who is in town in Las Vegas, lunch is on me Friday. Lunch is on me on Friday. Hey, and speaking of food, I'm not making this up. I got an email from the Hartford Insurance Company. I'm not making this up. That the Hartford Insurance, they sent me a mail, and it says, craving a gourmet treat? Try pig candy. And I'm not making this up. They really do have pig candy. I want pig candy. They've got garlic bread pig candy with bacon slowed roast with brown sugar until it's crispy and crunchy. And they have the mango, maple whiskey, espresso. We'll throw the link in. I thought it was kind of clever, and it reminds me of that joke about the pig with the wooden leg. Now, I'm sure everyone in the room has heard that joke about the pig with the wooden leg. Is there anyone, just tell me if there's anyone that hasn't heard the joke about the pig with the wooden leg, and I will tell it.
Don't encourage him, people. Everyone's heard the joke, Jan. No need to say it. Thank you. We're moving on.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, because that reminds me of another joke about about this guy, a comedian takes his friend to a comedy show with just comedians. And the first guy gets up on the stage and he says, 25. And everybody breaks out in the room laughing. And then another comedian gets up on the stage and says, 32. And everybody breaks up laughing. And his friend, who was with this comedian, says, I don't understand it. Why they're calling out numbers? That's not funny. And his friend says, because we're all comedians here. We know every joke. So we've just numbered them. So the comedians just go up to save time. They just say the number. And, another guy comes out, says 35. Everybody breaks up laughing. And then the next guy comes up and says 69. Dead silence in the room. And his friend turns to him and says, what happened? He said, that guy never could tell a good joke. Ba-dum-bum.
Yay on that one. Yay.
Is that a dad joke?
That's a dad joke.
Michael, tell him the joke about the elephant you told me.
But then somebody said 260, and everybody laughed for an hour because nobody had heard it before.
That's good, Gear. That's good.
Yeah, that is great. That was a great.
You see, now
Love
if you've
it.
watched the show all the way through, you now know what you didn't miss. That's what I could say. Michael, you want to save the elephant joke for next week, or you want to do it now?
We'll save the elephant joke for next week.
All right. So now you have a reason to come back. So anyway, we want to thank you all for watching and listening and participating. Everybody, what? The roundup?
Roundtable recap.
Oh, here we go. Roundtable recap.
You already cut my segment from the very first time.
Unbelievable. I'm glad you're recapping that.
Well, boys and girls, what did we learn today at the SoundBroker Roundtable? We learned that Fedex doesn't deliver on holidays. We learned that if you get vaccinated in Texas, you get a free gun. And we learned that Debbie Gibson is alive and well and soon to start a residency in Las Vegas.
And there we have it. So now, for those people who are watching, just remember, you can give us a thumbs up, whether you like it or not. I don't really care. Just give us a thumbs up. Subscribe, click on the link, and you could subscribe to the channel as well. If you're on Facebook, share the link with everybody. Tell everybody you had a good time. If you're on the panel, invite people. Invite people to join us. If you know anybody that you want us to join us, feel free. I always send out the link of how you could send it to friends. I hope you like the new time. I hope you like the new format. I hope everybody is happy and healthy and staying healthy. And if you're not vaccinated, and you're thinking about it, it doesn't hurt at all. Just go out and get vaccinated. You'll feel much more liberated. You'll be able to travel the world as well. What am I forgetting? Is there anything I'm forgetting?
What happened to Kenny Newman?
Kenny Newman had an appointment. I'm not going to tell you what kind of appointment, but let's just say it's work related. Okay, there you have it. And with that in mind, just remember, you make it happen. Have a great week, everybody. We'll be back again here at the same time and the same place. So just enjoy yourself. Bring lunch if it's lunchtime for yourself. Don't worry about eating. We all know what people look like when they're eating. So I can't say of anything else. Also remember, feed the crew. That's something Michael forgot in the recap, so I will bring it up. Feed the Crew, great show, especially the one with me in it. And we'll be spreading the link. And for those people on YouTube and Facebook, we're going to say goodbye. For those people in the room who want to stay a little longer, we're going to let you stay a little longer. So thanks again for watching. Remember, spread the word and you make it happen. Stay safe and healthy and